guess let's go ahead and officially start. Can we
Hey,
do
guess
that?
what? This is the last podcast before my book comes out.
It is the last podcast before your book comes out. I figure that our next podcast is going to be the most popular, though that doesn't seem to be the case so far. I figured we actually will have a substantial plug. I can't decide if I want to plug it before or after the Fallout 76 segment, because I don't want people to stop listening when we plug it. And if we plug it for too long, people stop listening and not actually listen to the Fallout 76 portion.
I think people will listen. You got to tell people that 76 is coming up.
Yeah.
But, I think we'll be fine.
By the way, I talked to Greg, Vault Boy Bubblehead, and he is on board for next Wednesday at 8. And he has it downloaded, but he hasn't played it yet because he wasn't able to.
Womp womp.
Womp womp womp.
All right, we better get into this thing before we give too much away.
Yeah. Welcome once again for listening in on RGCWV, Random Geek Culture in West Virginia. Here we talk about all things geek, from Appalachia to the British Zed. My host tonight is me. My co-host is Mike Mallow. Say hi to everybody, Mike.
Hi. Happy British Zed Day.
Happy British Zed Day. I don't think it is actually British Zed Day. I don't know. There's probably a calendar somewhere out there. And then my guest tonight is Aaron Duty, my college roommate, and the third to our trio. Say hi, Aaron.
Y'all Brits have a weird way of saying Z.
Yeah.
The reason why we invited Aaron tonight is because 10 years ago today was the last major release of our cartoon series. Now, what was the name of our company at that point in time? I can't remember because it kept changing.
Wasn't there like a Yuppie Network? No. It was OK5 Studios.
Was it OK5 for FU3, or was it...
Sometimes we would throw in Timothy Lane for good measure.
Yeah.
Timothy Lane Studios. Hang on, I'm going to play this just to see what comes up. I'm pretty sure it was OK5, though.
I think it says both.
I know I'd started some that had Timothy Lane, but I can't remember if I ever published those. Hang on, it's coming. Nope, just OK5.
Just OK5? We're going to go ahead and go over what all we used to do. Now, tonight, we will talk about the cartoon series we had. We're going to talk about the graphic novel that we were working on. We are going to talk about the art display that we had. We're going to talk about the graphic novel that we were working on. Did I already say that?
Yeah.
Also, there are a lot of past tense verbs in this.
Yeah.
Had.
Have. Would have been.
Basically, we're going to reminisce about the good old days.
The good old days.
Get off my lawn!
Just the good old boys.
Because we are so old now.
Yes, we are. Oh,
you know what?
Also the video games that we made and did make and were making and never finished and never even started. Hopefully tonight we're going to go off on a tangent or two, staying true to our name, Random Geek Culture. We randomly talk about things that just pop into our head. That's just what we do.
So, the band is back together.
The band is back together. Do we want to start with how we started before Aaron came along?
Wait, with FU?
No, with our first project, me and Mike.
Oh, the first project.
The first project.
In Pendleton County High School.
In the computer lab.
Actually, in Franklin High School.
Franklin High School at that time.
The series finale of Franklin High School, we made a video game in computer class in QBasic that was essentially a Zelda game, but with math involved.
Yeah, it was called QB Dungeon. QBasic Dungeon. And what was the name of the company name that we had? Yuppie Network.
It was Yuppie Network.
It was Yuppie Network because the title music that we had was a 8-bit remake of Radiohead's Just. Why do
Eh,
we...
well, because Paranoid Android had a line about the Yuppies networking,
Yes.
and so we co-opted that for our company name at the time.
It was a good one.
That might explain why you used it like that.
So there's another thing that came out of this game. We had our build name for the game was OK. So we had OK1, OK2, OK3, OK4, which were all like the debugging games.
Yeah.
OK5 was the final release game.
Working copy.
So that is where the name OK5 Studios came from, because that was the file name of our first complete project.
OK5. And then we went to college in good old Fairmont, West Virginia.
There was a little bit of a lag there.
There was a little bit of lag. You went off to college because you're a few years older than me.
Yeah, I was at Potomac State for 2 years, and then I went on to Fairmont, and then Luke graduated that year and also went to Fairmont.
Yeah, well, I went to the International Academy of Design and Technology, and when they were... Okay, so it was a tech school, and at the tech school we didn't have dorms. So they decided to help us find apartments in the Fairmont area. In the day that the advisor brought me out to find apartments, there was this other gentleman there. Had a little bit of a longer, unruly mop on his head, and we went to, like, I don't know, what was it? How many, Aaron? Was it 7, 8 apartments?
Something like that.
Yeah, and we didn't like any of them, neither one of us. And we weren't... She didn't intend for us to actually room together, but when we finally saw the last place on Timothy Lane... we both saw the apartment. We loved it. There was 2 rooms in it, and we hadn't talked about it. And when we decided we both liked it, we were like, yeah, let's room together. That sounds cool. Because, I mean, I didn't want to room with somebody I'd never met before. I at least had an afternoon with Aaron. Little did I know, that was a horrible idea. So, and then after what was it, about a semester in at Mike, you were going to Fairmont College. It was Fairmont State College at the time.
That's right.
And I was going to IDT with Aaron. We were all in the same class, too. Every single class we had together. Because at the tech school, it was just a glorified high school.
Yep.
Yeah, the bell ring and everything.
Oh, my God. It was so funny.
I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't remember. Aaron, did they have a bell?
I don't think they did.
We're all adults, quotation mark.
Look, man, when I start talking about Red Hat 8, I feel very old, okay? Because they started renumbering, like, the Red Hat Enterprise Edition, like, a couple years after that. But, like, they also got rid of the Blue Curve GUI.
Speaking of, what do you think about the recent news from IBM?
I actually laughed.
I did too.
Really hard, and here's why. I hate the GNOME GUI, just the entire desktop environment.
GNOME.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
I do not like it. And
I'm partial to KDE.
They've been removing features like customization to the desktop, and that's fine. That's fine for people who don't want to customize anything. You get a decent default experience. I'll grant them that. But GTK3 has proven to be slow on even like well-spec'd machines, and honestly, that bothers me more. But now, nobody will be removing features from it because IBM's not going to let them work on it.
Here's the thing that I don't understand about that. So anyway, circling back around. So we were going to computer tech, and Mike, he was going to Fairmont State College.
I was learning graphics.
You were learning graphics. You could have learned graphics at IEDT.
I didn't know that at the
he
time.
couldn't have.
And I told you a bunch of times that you could have done that. You could have gone to college with. Turns out Mike
No,
was the
he
smart
couldn't
one.
have.
Mike was the
Say,
smart.
say then I would have had a useless degree.
Yeah.
I've gotten plenty of use out of mine.
I
I
am
can't
too.
talk.
I mean, I'm making
It
a.
just never got me a job, but I did get plenty of use out of it.
I mean,
I will have to say, in the end, you all are probably making like way more than me. So it works out in the end.
that was just a career path choice. That's not the college that we went to.
You could be right there.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I learned Flash my last year of college,
Mm-hmm.
and it was funny because I went to the class the first day, and they taught us how to tween, and I was like, oh, okay, that is literally the only thing I didn't know how to do. I did not go to that class again until the last day, and I got a B+ in the class.
So, Mike, because you started learning Flash,
Right.
what was your first project?
My first project was a Ladybug film called Dandy and Pede.
Whoa.
and I recruited a couple of roommates to do the voices.
Yeah.
And it was about two ladybugs who happened upon a bee who was allergic to pollen and was dying. And so they just poked him with a stick.
See, that one was funny, but my favorite one was when they came across the mosquito. Because
Yeah.
that was when the West Nile virus was happening.
That's right.
And they beat him over the head, and they're like, stop spreading diseases from places you've never been.
I do remember.
Yeah.
Let me see if that one's still available.
Yeah. And then, of course,
It is.
It is?
Yeah.
Now, of course, after that, you started another series. It was it was still doing the vast majority of it by yourself.
It was basically a prototype of what became FU.
Yeah.
It was called Pendleton County High.
FU isn't the acronym that you think it is. It stands for Fairmont University.
Yeah, so...
Because at the time, we were big fans of another Flash series called College University.
I actually forgot about that.
Yeah, it was a good show. It was really funny.
So I actually started FU out of spite because I had struggled with trying to graduate from there. Like every time I applied to graduate, they'd be like, "Oh no, you need this class yet or this class." So I finally got pissed and took a lesser degree just so I didn't have to put up the crap anymore. So FU was kind of like, it was Fairmont University, but it was also responding
Double
to them.
entendre.
Yeah, pretty much. I like to have two meanings in everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So that was why FE was launched, and then I spent a year working on it. And at that time, I had moved back home. I graduated with whatever BS they gave me. Finally, I went back home, and started working.
Isn't it a BA though? Was it a BS?
Actually, it was a BS, or it was supposed to be a BS. It turned out to be AS. So, they're a bunch of asses.
Yeah.
But so I went home. I moved back in with my parents and worked, full-time job, and then just kind of worked on this thing on and off throughout the year at night. And by the time it was almost finished, I got married, and my wife wanted to finish school in Morgantown, so we moved to Morgantown. So that gave me a chance to finish up. And record all the lines in Fairmont where you all were mostly at the time.
Mostly, yeah.
I can't remember if D was there then or not.
He was still there.
I was thinking he was. So we released that in July. I believe it was July 8th of 2005, and it it got 30,000 views and a daily second place. So I was like, oh shit, we were onto something. And sidebar, you can't actually go on there and watch it now because they cracked down on copyrighted music a couple years ago.
On Newgrounds.
Yeah, on newgrounds.com. And because it was 2005 and, the world has changed since 2005, like a lot, because I actually found the original file, so I could go back and change the music, and they would the Tom, who's the founder of Newgrounds, was like, yeah, it's fine. I'll just let me know and I'll replace it and we'll be good. And I went to do it and I was like, man, this stuff is super outdated, joke wise and everything. So I could never bring myself to fully go through and like, because there's a ton of music in there.
Yeah.
There's probably like 10 songs I have to replace. But yeah, I could never bring myself to actually go back and update it so it will be published again. Anyways, so we got 30,000 views on that one.
Yeah.
So I immediately went to work on a sequel, which was FU2, which obvious name.
That was our. I think it was our biggest one.
FU was our biggest one, actually.
Was it?
Originally in two parts because there was a file restriction.
Mm-hmm.
So I released it in two parts, and the two parts separately didn't do that great.
Oh, okay.
But like around that time, after I released those, they upped the file limit. I want to say it was 5 megs originally, and they updated it to 10. So it was enough where I could combine the two videos and release them that way. So I released a director's cut not long after that on looking for the date here, September 29th, 2006. And that got daily first place. And it was the daily feature for September 30th. And actually, I'm looking at the views for the first time. So it's actually up to 37,000 views right now. So it may have passed the original FU by now, especially since it's not currently being viewed by anybody.
Yeah.
So you may be right. It may be the biggest one now.
Our last major episode, which that series we never finished. Mostly because we all moved to different places, and we all just didn't have the time to finish it.
Really.
I myself have gone to go finish it several times because we have all the voice recordings for it.
Yeah, I mean there was nothing really to stop us from doing it because we had all the recordings. It was just a matter of having time, and that was not a thing I had at that point.
Yeah.
So I remember we recorded. We had a big recording session with like all the different characters.
Yeah, in Michael Stewart's upstairs, which Michael Stewart, if you guys remember, is the one who does the title music for us. Man, Mike's a good guy, isn't he?
No, he's done all this for pretty much zero anything. Yeah. So yeah, he's a saint in my book.
He loves doing this stuff, though.
Yeah, but so we had a huge recording session. And to kind of back up a little bit, this was a very ambitious project.
Yeah, it was what 6-part project?
7. I written 6 originally, and then I added the 7th, which was actually the very first part because I realized I wanted a little more backstory to get in there.
Now, to our viewers that probably haven't seen the show, because who has? I don't know if you guys remember from the beginning of the broadcast, but Aaron's name is Aaron Duty. So, and the plot of the episode was he was going to join the military for the Afghanistan problem. And so that episode was called Aaron of Duty.
That's actually what the whole thing was supposed to be called, but as the parts kept rolling in, I kept just working on the same word play. Like the first episode is actually called Call to Duty, and then there was Aaron of Duty, and then it kind of went through that similar thread with the different characters. I think the third episode was called Gone Without a Tracy.
Yeah, which That's your wife.
Yeah, who was also a character in the episode.
Yep. My wife was a character in that episode. Let's see who else. Our most popular character. I just popped in my head. Beaner.
Yeah, Beaner was in there.
So a lot of these episodes they centered around our experiences at Book and Bean. Book and Bean was a coffee shop that actually Mike
Book Book and
Stewart.
Bean was more than a coffee shop,
It
Luke.
was more than a coffee shop.
Book and Bean was Fairmont's living room.
It was.
There you go.
And I've never it was more like a community of commiseration with college life. And I've never in my working life ever found quite a community like that.
Yeah.
I have always searched for it again. And when Book and Bean, like when they finally closed the doors, because running a coffee shop in a post Starbucks world is just horrible.
Well, not only that,
Like,
but Mike and Lori, they had, recently had their son Cohen, and they weren't having enough time to spend time with Cohen and run the coffee shop, and it just became not a priority anymore.
yeah,
And half of the
just
reason why that place was so good because they had somebody like Michael Stewart that had passion for everything he does.
all I'm saying is I practically lost any real motivation for going back to Fairmont for the most part, because I mean,
Thanks,
I'll,
Aaron.
I'll I know,
I
I
still
know.
live here.
Yes, you still live there, but it's not the same, Luke. I mean, like Alice has a friend in now, and Alice being my wife, and like we've been through there, and I haven't dropped a line because I knew that we would be so crunched for time that it just wouldn't really be fair to you. So
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, that's also a problem I run into.
Yeah.
Is I'll be in Morgantown or something. I'll be like, oh man, I need stuff in Fairmont, but I also have to be home by 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand that well.
Yeah.
being an adult sucks.
Yeah, it
Like,
does.
we should never have done that.
Yeah. What the hell were we thinking?
We're idiots,
I mean, you were living with your parents after you got out of college. Why did you ever give that up?
right? I don't know what's wrong with me.
So, what the plot of the third FU, which, by the way, the reason why we're recording tonight is because this is the 10-year anniversary tonight when we're recording this, November 2nd. This is the 10-year anniversary of the release of the first episode of FU3. Mike, remind me again why Aaron ended up in Switzerland in that episode.
All right, so I'm actually in the process of opening the original script right now.
Okay, go ahead and do that.
But what happened?
If I remember correctly, I was ordered to, stop being so awesome, and I decided to march on Switzerland instead.
Yeah, he was looking to conquer Switzerland. Basically, he joined the army and then went rogue and took a
After he became a general.
yeah took a
Because you
group of
do that
soldiers
after
with
like
him.
6 months.
That's right. Well, you rose through the ranks quickly.
Yeah, by killing my superiors, right?
Probably.
That's how the U.S. Army works.
I actually think
What the world? What kind of world building did you do to come up with that?
What? Vikings? What?
I don't remember, but I do sort of recall there being something, because we did a video game adaptation that further filled out the backstory.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I never finished. I got about halfway done.
And I believe I wrote a script to that, which detailed your rise to power.
That
Wow.
game, by the way, was also built in Flash.
So nobody's gonna play it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not at this stage.
No, it wasn't a complete system. I had the world map done. I had the battle system done. There was only like 5 different characters that you could fight. There was a mouse, a cobra. There was the scorpion. There was two other things. I think there was another. I think there was an enemy. I think there was an enemy soldier. Maybe.
Yeah, I believe there was.
And then, of course, I did all the stuff myself. So I did the, well, I mean, other than the script, of course, but I did all the artwork for it. I did all the sound effects that I used. I did all those. In fact, the one that I was most proud of was the sword, the sword sound, and the hit. What I did was I took two different sounds. I scraped one flathead screwdriver against another to do the the metal sliding sound, and then I for the hit part, I took a hammer and hit it up against the carpet. It was fun.
All right, so I've got the script open. Do you want to
Yeah,
hear these section titles?
yeah. Go ahead.
All right, so of the 7 parts, I believe there's 7. The first one is Call to Duty, and then the second one is Errand of Duty, which was supposed to be the first one originally. And then the third part is A Gray Matter, and that's kind of commentary about how Switzerland's neutral, so they're not black or white, they're gray.
Yeah.
And then the what am I up to now? 4. The fourth part,
Yeah.
yeah, fourth part is Gone Without a Tracy.
Gone without tracing. Yeah.
The fifth part is Soldier of Fortune Cookie.
Isn't that because you got a fortune cookie in that?
Yeah, that said I was going to die.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Oh,
then
that was in the first episode.
yeah, that one was actually published.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that joke that you put in there in that episode when Cassie opens her fortune cookie and there's
Yeah.
no fortune in there.
When you were trying to fix the audio earlier, we made light of that
Oh yeah.
because you said this is unfortunate. I said yeah, like a fortune cookie with no fortune in it.
Yeah. And how unfortunate.
So the sixth part you may remember is about Beaner falling in love with a Yeti.
Oh yeah, that's right. Beaner falling in love with a Yeti.
And that part is called Abominable Romance.
Abominable romance.
And the final part is called Battle for the Bean.
Man, I really wish we had finished this.
Me too. I mean, I still have all the audio files, so
I do
all
too.
that all I need is a time loop where I can kind of go in and work on things uninterrupted,
Well,
and then come out with no time having moved at all.
yeah. You know what? They
Does that
say
exist?
that Santa Claus is able to move through time easily because he has a time bubble. Maybe you should put that on your Christmas list.
I will ask for that because that would be the most valuable thing I could ever own.
Maybe what we should do is we should train a machine learning algorithm to create flash files and just string a whole bunch of them together. It'll look like nonsense because, I mean, the robots have yet to rise up. And there's a reason for that.
Most of our stuff was nonsense, though.
Yeah, so it might work, but
It's like, was it Rocco's Modern Life, where the one director he kept trying to sabotage the show, and when he actually tried to, make the show successful, then it got canceled.
I believe that's right.
Yeah, I love that show.
Do you know they're coming out with? He's on a PBS Kids show next. The guy who created Rocco's Modern Life.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
which
cool.
cracks me up because the guy who did Hey Arnold is he also has shows on PBS Kids.
Huh.
So to put a cap on things, so that was 10 years ago. We because of how ambitious it was, we just kind of ran out of steam on it. And the other thing was to keep that in the consciousness of Newgrounds viewers. I was also making short episodes, so people remember that we were still part of the Newgrounds.
Yeah, the mid segments,
The
but of course,
consciousness.
we also made every single one of those major episodes. We in the between episodes, we always stayed within the same art style. So
Right.
then, whenever we came out with a new episode, it would be in a new art style, and all the preceding episodes or the mini episodes would be in that previous art style.
That's right. So we started with FU the Darkness,
Mm-hmm.
and then we did the Christmas episode.
I told you he was real.
Today was the only one that Luke's ever written.
Yeah, yeah, that was a fun one too.
And then there was Autoblowbill.
Auto blow bile.
Yep. About the
I
Oh,
forgot
that
about
one.
that one. That one was so good.
Much better than the Christmas one. Nobody
Yeah.
would understand the like Gundam Wing joke there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Autoblowbill might have been my personal favorite of all the shorts.
I don't know. I really, really liked the anti-heroes.
Oh yeah, where's that?
That's the one where Link was
Yeah.
felled by a muffin.
I think that one might be banned too because I don't see it on here.
I just watched it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I just watched it like a month ago.
I don't
It was
see it
on-
on
it
here.
Well,
was on my list.
maybe you watching that like got it banned.
Hey, good job, Luke.
Thanks, man.
I can't do anything right.
Hold on, I just found like just Google it. I mean, FU Antihero Newgrounds link comes right up.
Huh?
Yeah, if you go under my user profile, some stuff don't have you credited anymore.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, look at my stuff because I've got a few things on there.
I mean, Rocky Mike is credited here, so like I can't actually play the video because my browser doesn't have Flash installed.
That's funny. That's funny.
So yeah, that's weird. But yeah, that one is actually my personal favorite.
I love that one. In the thing that I like the most about that episode is JD's performance as Dreadopolis.
That's right.
Alan Dreadopolis.
Oh wait, I see it there. Never mind.
My name
It's
is
because
Alan Dreadopolis. It's
It's-
long and very hard
it's-
to spell.
it's Greek and very hard to spell.
Yeah, that's it. Guys, we didn't talk about it at the beginning, so let's go ahead and do this now. What do you geek out about? For me, Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Loved that show. Used to stay up every Friday night and watch that show. It might be a little bit dated now, but oh man, that show was hilarious.
See now you're pulling us into the realm of Adult Swim.
Oh yeah,
Which
that's
was
where it all got started. William
I would
Street.
say that was pretty much our bonding experience on Timothy Lane was going over there and watching Adult Swim on Sunday nights.
Yeah,
Back when it was just Sunday nights for like 2 hours.
yeah, and
And
it
you'd
was
have
so
your-
good. It was quality television.
You'd have your Space Ghost and your Aqua Teen and your Sea Lab and your Harvey Birdman, and then your Cowboy Bebop.
Did you hear Harvey Birdman is coming back?
Yeah, for like a movie. I was actually going to make that the thing I was geeking out about, but I haven't
ahead.
actually got I hadn't got around to watching it yet. The thing that cracked me up though is you know how I found out about it? I was listening to an NPR podcast,
Okay.
and the commercial for it, like the sponsor of the podcast was Adult Swim for Harvey Birdman, Attorney General,
Attorney General.
and I thought holy crap. What kind of demographic is NPR going for? And then I thought, well, I am literally that demographic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well played to Adult
Because-
Swim sponsoring NPR.
Yeah, we're old now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that
You're
seems to be
right.
the reoccurring theme going on right at the moment. I'll tell you what makes me feel old right now.
Pre-40s.
Yeah.
How bad does that make you feel?
Well, I've got this thing like on my Newgrounds profile page. I have this thing that says joined March 20th, 2003. And I'm like, oh man, that was
15 years
15
ago.
years ago. Yeah. And I was in college. So I haven't been in college 15 years.
Yeah, I had to actually count up the number of years of experience I've had in like the just like software field, like
Yeah.
and it comes up to 12 right at this very moment, and I'm just
Wow.
like, dear Lord.
So here on this show, we like to ask what people geek out about. For me, Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Loved that show. Used to stay up every Friday night and watch that show. It might be a little bit dated now, but oh man, that show was hilarious.
See, now you're pulling us into the realm of Adult Swim,
Oh yeah,
which
that's
was
where it all got started. William
I would say
Street.
that was pretty much our bonding experience on Timothy Lane, was going over there and watching Adult Swim on Sunday nights.
Yeah,
Back when it was just Sunday nights for like 2 hours,
yeah, and it
and
was so good. It was quality television.
you'd have your Space Ghost and your Aqua Teen and your Sea Lab and your Harvey Birdman, and then your Cowboy Bebop.
Did you hear Harvey Birdman is coming back?
Yeah, for like a movie. I was actually going to make that the thing I was geeking out about, but I
Go
haven't
ahead.
actually I hadn't got around to watching it yet. The thing that cracked me up though is, you know how I found out about it?
Hmm.
I was listening to an NPR podcast,
Okay.
and the commercial for it, like the sponsor of the podcast was Adult Swim for Harvey Birdman, Attorney General,
Attorney General.
and I thought, holy crap, M- what kind of demographic is NPR going for? And then I thought, well, I am literally that demographic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well played to Adult
Because-
Swim sponsoring NPR.
Yeah, we're old now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be the reoccurring theme going on right at the moment. I'll tell you what makes me feel old right now.
Pre-40s. How
Yeah.
how bad does that make you feel?
Well, I've got this thing, like on my Newgrounds profile page. I have this thing that says joined March 20th, 2003. And I'm like, oh man, that was
15 years
15
ago.
years ago. Yeah. And I was in college. So I haven't been in college 15 years.
Yeah, I had to actually count up the number of years of experience I've had in like the just like software field, like
Yeah.
and it comes up to 12 right at this very moment, and I'm just
Wow.
like, dear Lord.
So, Aaron, what are you geeking out about?
I have been like neck deep in like programming languages and just web frameworks, like out the wazoo.
Hmm.
And I have not really had time for anything other than like Metal Gear Solid 5 and Stellaris as far as like entertainment goes.
Oh,
So-
Stellaris is so good. It's so good.
Yeah, they're gonna mess it up probably.
One of these
very
days,
soon.
they're gonna mess it up. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're going to turn it into Victoria too pretty soon. Which, if anybody listening even knows what in the world I'm talking about, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. Grand strategy is probably the most boring thing to actually talk about, and the A-Spec videos pretty much bear that out unless you know what's going on. So,
Man,
but
I remember
but-
back in college, I would spend 6 hours straight playing Civilization 3. I got something in the mail today.
was it a Raspberry Pi?
It was not a Raspberry Pi, but it was as equally awesome.
Cherry pie.
I got my Nintendo Switch, the exclusive Smash Brothers model. It's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I already packed yours up.
Yay.
By the way, am I gonna see you tomorrow?
Probably not, because I got to be back by 4:30.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That whole not having time thing again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to the place in which I chose to geek out about finally,
Oh yeah.
and that is
Vinegar Rocks.
well, this will be my next stop on the Fallout 76 tour of West Virginia. I'm going to the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Oh, that's in there, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I saw video of it, so I know it's in there. But as for me, I'm actually going there tomorrow. The place just blows my mind every time I'm there, because the architecture and the last 4 times we've gone for the overnight ghost stuff, and that's been wild.
Yeah.
This is the first time we're actually going in during the day, so I should get to see what the place looks like, with light. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But I always geek out about that place just because of how fascinating it is.
You already did one. Save one for another week.
No, I told you I wasn't going to do Harvey Birdman.
Oh, okay.
I was originally going to until I thought about that one.
Okay, so you can do both. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I will geek about Harvey Birdman when the time arises, but now is not that time.
So
Speaking of
let's.
Fallout 76,
Speaking of Fallout 76, so wait, we already mentioned that next week's episode is going to be the Fallout 76 review.
did we? I thought that wasn't recording then.
Oh, maybe. Okay, well let's just do it again, and then I'll have two.
All right.
Okay, so next week's episode is going to be the review of Fallout 76. Now, since we're a new podcast, we don't get review copies of stuff, but we all have joined the beta through ordering,
And we
pre-ordering.
and we have mastered the beta.
We have mastered the PG-13. PG-13.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Luke.
Oh, we forgot about another series that we did that we
Well,
didn't mention.
that was post FU.
Post FU.
So that was called Perpetual Work Day.
Yep.
Um, I remember D was not at all enthusiastic about that project, so I recorded his lines myself.
Though his personality still shined through the Aaron Duty character.
That's right. But yeah, so he was on board after that one, and he did the lines for the second one. And I feel like script wise and not self-referential wise, that was the best stuff we've done.
Yeah.
Because you can watch it now and it still holds up.
Yeah. Especially Viking Bob. Fired!
But, exactly. Yeah, my all-time favorite part of those two episodes was the human resources with Viking Bob. Which is even funnier to me now because my wife is in human resources.
See, I don't know if it's just to me, but I really like my segment for the help desk call.
Yeah. That's also good.
I still chuckle on. And by the way, for those of you who have actually watched that, by the way, these videos are on YouTube. Ooh, I'm going to link that on our YouTube channel.
Perpetual Workday definitely is.
Yeah, these two videos are on YouTube, and the help desk call that I take was an actual help desk call that one of my friends had.
And there again, there was a third episode. I must have a 3-episode curse because there was a third episode to that, and it was a great episode, and we never got the voices recorded in time.
Yeah. You know who else I would like to flesh out as a character more? Adam Daltrey.
He would have been.
Yeah. Adam Daltrey was he was a little bit of a sinner, but he was a good character.
That's right. He wasn't that bad. He just liked the ladies.
He liked the ladies.
And hated his wife.
Okay.
So yeah, Perpetual Workday. Check that one out because that one is the best thing. That's the best thing we've ever done.
Okay. Next little topic: Geek Trivia. Geek Trivia. The Geek Trivia segment. Questions that only we as geeks actually want answers to. All right, I've got a couple. So I'm gonna.
Aaron better be here.
Okay. Is Aaron still here? Yeah.
Yay.
Okay.
All
right. There, I've got a couple, so I'm gonna let you guys pick from one. I'll just give you a little snippet. One is about Robin Williams and Mork and Mindy. One is the distance between lines on the road, and
50 feet.
And another one is the original name for Spider-Man in The Amazing Spider-Man. What do you guys want to do?
Arachnid Boy.
Just whatever.
Okay. All right. The actual question, guys, and don't just blurt it out. Okay. The actual question is...
Did you write it down?
Sure, write it down. I mean, I don't know that you're actually writing it down. Are you going to put the pen right near the microphone so I can hear the scratches?
I can just type it in and send it to you.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can actually use our chat service. Okay. What was Spider-Man's name in the first issue of The Amazing Spider-Man?
You have my answer.
That's not it.
Oh.
Aaron?
Oh, I have no clue.
Okay, that's not it either.
Because he's a detective.
Okay,
Dick York.
his actual name, not like his superhero name, his actual name.
Giggity.
Ah, yeah.
Peter somehow sounded better. I don't know.
You don't have an answer, Aaron?
Well,
I have no answer.
I said Dick Parker.
Yeah, you said Dick Parker. Okay. It's actually Peter Palmer. Peter Palmer was the original name for Spider-Man before it became Peter Parker.
This segment brought to you by Heartspark.
Coming to a bookstore near you.
Wednesday.
Go
buy it on Amazon.
buy
print or Kindle or Nook. My my sponsorship of letting you borrow my Switch for the summer.
I don't need to divulge how much you gave me. Actually. All right.
D, always a pleasure.
Yes.
Yep.
Aaron, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And thank you once again, our listeners, to listening to RGCWV, Random Geek Culture in West Virginia, where we talk about all things geek. If you like to talk to us or reach out to us, you can email us at randomwvgeek@gmail.com, or you can call us or text message us at 304-566-9777. Welcome to the end.
Welcome to the end, everybody.
To the end.
All right. Good deal.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that. All right. Have a good night, guys.
You all do the
too.
same.
I'm just a lonely sun-star general. I've already mastered the art of war. Your chances of survival depend upon your rivals. The casualties you'll lack when the enemy won't fight back. But putting holes in the Swiss is something you should miss. We don't believe in prisoners of war. Nothing could be finer than leaving no survivors. We put holes in the Swiss. The tide of war is fast and coming. Enter the fray with sword held high. Its fatal fascination to overthrow a nation brought heavy artillery. The W. Putting holes in the Swiss is something you should miss. They don't believe in prisoners of war. Nothing could be finer than leaving no survivors.